Hey, we're Gerald and Tabby, married over 22 years.
And still choosing each other on purpose.
We're definitely better together.
We've been through addictions, infidelity, open adoption, financial crisis, and each other.
She's the drama.
And he's the calm most of the time.
We're not experts, and we're definitely not licensed therapists. But we've learned a lot the hard way, and we're not afraid to talk about it.
For too long, we walked through our struggles alone, but that's not how God designed marriage or life.
This is where we get real about marriage, faith, and the messy stuff no one warns you about after you say, I do.
We call out the bad advice, the fake perfection, and the things that just don't work out in real life. So if you want polished, we're not it.
But if you're looking for honest, then welcome. This is I Still Do. Ice cream.
What about ice cream?
So when you were at the football game last Friday, and you were spraying the mosquito spray on your elbow or whatever, and you had it turned the wrong way, and it sprayed right in your face, and then someone was standing behind us, and I was like, yeah, it never stops. 25 years later.
That was actually Amy and Alexis are standing right there, and they're like, did you just get that in your eye? And you were like, it never stops.
Never stops.
That was so funny, because actually my mom, she listened to the first podcast, and she was like, she said she was rolling laughing. She was like, you forgot the ice cream story. And I literally cannot believe we forgot the ice cream story. So we actually kind of had our timeline wrong. So you had gotten there on a Friday. Lindsay graduated on a Saturday. Sunday is when we went out for this ice cream. Sunday evening was the when we went to the movies, and then y'all left Monday morning.
And I love the way people are telling you what happened in Pearl Harbor since you've never seen the movie.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I've gotten a couple really funny texts from people be like, actually one of Gerald's friends, Darian, actually sent us a text together. He gave me like this brief synopsis of the movie Pearl Harbor, not the events that happened, but the love story part.
Josh Hartnett's a great guy.
It was really funny.
Great actor.
And then a couple
Last great movie.
Yeah, a couple of other people said the same thing. But so the story that I missed, amongst all the other embarrassing moments, was that Gerald and I were actually able to get away. I can't remember. Actually, I think the clubbing was Friday. The graduation was Saturday. The movie was also Saturday. That's what it was. And then, because that movie was our technical first date, and then that Sunday you took me out for ice cream. We got like a little time away together, just the two of us. That's what it was. And you took me to the Marble Slab. And we went, and I got my, do you remember what ice cream I got?
Was it Rocky Road? Or no? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Chocolate peanut butter.
Oh, chocolate peanut butter. My bad.
That's never changed.
It's
I've
never
never
changed.
gotten Rocky Road. It has marshmallows in it.
You're right.
Gross. Anyways.
Marriage fell.
I know.
That'll
You're
be another
fine.
podcast. Remember your wife's ice cream flavors.
Anyways, I got chocolate ice cream with a peanut butter cup mixed into it. And I'm pretty sure you got mint chocolate chip. But
Yeah, I was trying a lot of new stuff around you. I was trying to look like more sophisticated.
yeah. I can't remember. Now when he gets ice cream, I never know what order. Gerald never has the same orders, by the way. Like, ever. He is not predictable at all. I am very predictable when it comes to ordering food and desserts. I never know what he's going to do. Anyways, we go on this ice cream date. It's the day after I've drooled on him. I can't believe he wants to go get some ice cream with me. It's been a jam-packed weekend at this moment, and we are just chilling, getting to know each other, asking more questions. I really don't even remember the conversation. What I do remember is we go and sit down outside, and it's really sunny day.
It's hot.
And it is hot. And it's in Houston, super humid. And we sit down, and I have to sneeze, which happens to me often in the sun. But it came on so fast, the sneeze. It was like the quickest, but like such a sneeze that was like crazy. I sneezed so hard that all my ice cream splattered up into my face and into my eyelashes.
You had it in your hair.
And Gerald goes, oh my gosh. And he had to get napkins and wipe it off my face. And I was like, I don't want my mascara coming off. It was really, I was like literally could not get myself together that weekend. And we just laughed and laughed, continued the date, even though my face was sticky and ice cream in my hair and eyelashes.
It was funny.
It was really funny.
It's like those weekends, those early parts of our relationship, and I think a lot of people can relate to that too. It's like you just don't want them to end.
No, yeah.
Because it's almost like being on vacation.
Well, that's why y'all drug it out too, saying because y'all were supposed to leave that day.
I did not want to leave.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a vacation you go on to.
Yeah.
And it's that coming back. That's whenever when you're like on a cruise ship, which we can tell that story later, but you get that final bill on day 6 or whatever.
And your stomach hurts.
And then you're like, I can't go anywhere. We're just going to stay in this room. And I don't even know if I can.
We broke.
I don't even know if I could pay to get my car out of the garage. That was our honeymoon cruise.
Yeah, that was our honeymoon.
But I think that's where.
We haven't gotten there yet.
that's where, to pick up kind of where we left off before, there was a question that a couple people had asked me, and it came from men, but they were like, why would she put up with you? Like, why would she stay? And because a lot of people know our story, because we've shared it with a lot of people.
And you've written a couple of books.
Yeah.
So our story's out there, and
Yeah.
we share our testimony all the time. The podcast will get to it.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people see where we are today.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, we want what you want. And it's like, wait, you didn't see how this cake was baked.
We want what you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of broken eggs that hit the ground, a lot of bad recipes, a lot of things we had to redo.
Yeah.
And in those early days, especially, I feel like everything was moving 100 miles an hour.
Oh, it was so fast.
Yeah.
We moved in together within 6 months. Like, it was a very fast trajectory. Like, I mean...
But it was like things were happening, like, immediately, like, your dad started getting a job somewhere. Or got a new job at a church in Bay City.
Yeah, a new position. He's an Episcopal priest.
And like that moved really fast. It was like they were moving like in 2 months or something. It was crazy. And then we were having to make all these decisions about what we were going to do. Well,
and I was like, I don't want to go to Bay City. Mm-hmm. No offense to Bay City. My sister is still there to this day. And like...
Yeah, we pray for
we have a ton... Just kidding. We love all you Bay City people. Shout out to Ashley, Carrie. But Kellyanne and Chase, we're very close. We're very close.
Yeah.
And so...
But Waco to Bay City was going to be...
Yeah, it was going to be a further drive. It was going to be 4 hours, 4.5.
Something like that.
Yeah. So so like we said, after that first weekend we met and all the silly things that happened, like our relationship genuinely progressed because it was all we had was communication since we were long distance. We saw each other every single weekend until we moved into each other except for one. And that's when I had my tonsils taken out, which was the worst pain of my entire life. I crawled into bed with my parents, which I never did because I needed my mom. It was so bad. And I was like, you wanted to come. It's not that he didn't want to be there for me. He absolutely wanted to be there for me. I asked him not to because the pain was so unbearable. Like, it's super easy for children. So parents, if you're listening to this, you're like, my child has a tonsillectomy and coming up. Children are completely fine with this. It's adults where it's like severe pain. It's like everything's liquid fire. But anyways, I did not want him to see me like that because I was so whiny. All I was doing was crying, and it just would have been a waste of time. But he called me often and checked in. But anyways, yeah, so our relationship was moving like very quickly. My parents were noticing it. In fact, they actually, this is why I love my parents so much. And honestly, I think this is why Gerald and I communicate so well, is because my parents communicate really well. They literally were telling me that the days that I was at home and not with Gerald, I was miserable to be around. They were like, you're not even like fun, because all I wanted to do was talk to Gerald. All I wanted to be like, I was like, my heart was in Waco. It was no longer in Houston. Like my parents were like, this is serious. Like, this is real. And when the job was coming up for Bay City for my dad to go to that church there, we were actually thinking I would just move in with Jessica and them in their house. Remember?
About that. Yeah.
And but they were actually moving into a new place, so there wasn't enough room, and I wasn't going to Baylor, you know. And then Jessica's boyfriend was like offering, like, hey, you could be a roommate in our house. For some reason, that really didn't work, or we didn't really actually think that was really appropriate. There was another girl living there, but it was probably there was another one. It just, Gerald was like, well, what about you living with me? And I was like, my parents are never going to go for that. Absolutely not. My dad's a priest. You know this, right? And so, but then I was like, well, I'm going to pray about it. And honestly, I know, y'all, that sounds so silly to pray about doing something that most would be like, that's a sin and not how it's supposed to go. But we talked about it to my parents, and my parents were actually super loving and kind. They were like, they obviously wanted the route of me being roommates with Jessica and them to work out. That really was their first choice. But they were also like, you're an adult. We know y'all are going to get married. We trust y'all, and this is your life. That's one beautiful thing about my parents. They've always been like, you don't have to be an Episcopalian. We would love for you to, but great. You find a church. Your faith is your own. Your journey is your own. We'll be here to guide and support you. And they literally have always been those people. So even though it wasn't their first choice for us to live together, they absolutely supported it because they wanted to be there for us. And they even bought us a furniture set.
Well, that's what your parents were really good about. And it's something we try to do with our kids now, is that they like to share their wisdom, share their opinions, share what they think, but then they come at it of a place of like, I'm not judging you because you're old enough to make your decisions, but here's the guidance we're giving you.
Yeah.
And I think my parents were very similar in that standpoint too, where they're just like, just do what you got to do. Like, we're adults at that time.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we were kind of in this weird, you were in this gray area. I wasn't. I was already living in Waco. So.
Of course. And I had already moved away to go live with my biological dad, come back, you know. And then we weren't together we weren't at my house hardly anyways, because I was in Waco every other weekend and you were in Houston every other weekend. So they were actually getting to know you very well too at this time and really liking you a lot. And so they were like, you know what, you have our blessing. And then my dad, y'all have to know my dad, he always makes jokes, whether they're dad jokes or like
weird awkward jokes, with truth lightened in them.
Yeah. And he was like, he looked at me and he goes, look, Tam, you're making everybody miserable here anyways.
Which is truth and funny. Which
was truth and funny combined. And he was like, I'm serious. I love you. You have our blessing. But it was really funny because he was just like, and then just like I would think like a few weeks later, a month later, I was moving to Waco. But one thing, this is funny too, that we're missing. You were living in a trailer house.
Oh yeah. I had not moved yet.
I forgot. You had actually, you had moved because where you and your friend were that had done when I came to the house and you had the apartment, you were already in the apartment like when on the last episode we talked about.
Oh yeah.
But the first time I only went to that trailer once. Yeah. And stayed with you one time in that trailer, and that was actually where you and your ex lived.
Yeah.
Well, also it was scary. This is another. So Gerald had to go to work, and I'm staying in this trailer that had holes in certain parts of the floor, and I felt really unsafe.
$300 a month.
I know. I felt so unsafe in that trailer.
Very secure neighborhood.
That I turned the TV towards the front door and opened the screen door, set up a chair outside, and propped my feet up on this little table outside and watched TV from outside while the TV was inside. And he rolled up and he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, this trailer just kind of scares me.
All my furniture was from Goodwill.
It was so bad. And I think it was then, because that was probably a month or two into our relationship. I think by month 3, he had moved into the apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you moved. You were like, "Oh, I can't have her be here in this. This is not her." And it wasn't.
Well, if you're
Bougie,
if you're doing illicit things, you want to live in a trailer like that. There was never no cops around. Everybody had everybody's back.
Oh, exactly.
They didn't want any cops there.
It was great for you, not for me.
It's $300 a month, but
yeah, and then we moved. Then you moved to $625 a month, all bills paid. So you doubled that rent.
I remember that all those bills paid. But that was a deal.
So, anyways, we move into this apartment, and Gerald has that Goodwill furniture that he was talking about from the trailer.
I don't think it made it, did it?
Yes, that couch. It came. I asked. Actually, that wasn't even a Goodwill couch. It came from a dumpster.
No, that one didn't. That one came from Goodwill. Because we switched the tag on. I remember in Goodwill we switched it.
Oh, there was something that came from a dumpster. I was like, absolutely not.
And I don't know who was with me. I can't remember who was with me, but we switched it to $25 tag. And, Goodwill.
Okay, so anyways,
cash register didn't care.
Still, it was a nasty $25 white couch that really wasn't white anymore. It was disgusting and had to have a sheet on it at all times.
It was a pull-out too.
It was gross. Yeah, I don't think we ever pulled it out.
Anyways, it was a 2-bedroom once you opened it up.
Gerald. Oh my gosh. So anyways, we moved in together around 6 months, and my parents were supportive, and they even bought us a furniture set because they were saving us actually from going to Rent-A-Center.
Yeah.
They were like, "Please, for the love, do not do that.
Yeah.
That's going to wreak havoc on your credit." That's a lot of... So they were just like really helpful. I feel like they were like and supportive in that.
That's one thing we have. We had still, parental support, which was cool for our relationship.
Yeah.
I think both of our parents saw because even when you came and met my parents.
Oh, your parents were super loving. And kind.
Even my mom, with her bluntness, said, "You're really happy to bring her here." She noticed that I was really excited to introduce you to the family.
Yeah.
And
she even told me, literally the first time I met her, she goes, "Oh, I already like you more than his ex." She's like, "You're way different." And I was like, "Thank you, I think."
Because she saw the difference in me. It wasn't really you.
Yeah,
she was just seeing me because I never talked about someone to my parents like I talked about you. And it was just because it was so, I think I wrote in a book, I said joy. It was just I had more joy in this relationship. And in those days, right before we moved in, my schedule was when I got home, it was it's like coming from vacation. You're like, "Oh God, now I got to do all this again." And it was like, get up, go to class, go to work. Because at that time I had 2 jobs. And then after my second job at McCoy Myers, then it was like, okay, now we're going out. Monday nights were I had a schedule, 2 minis nights. Tuesday.
That used to be a local strip club here in Waco, by the way.
Tuesdays were George's. Wednesdays was Sonny's BYOB.
Another strip club.
Thursday was all clubs had all specials on Thursdays. It was kind of like a college night. Friday was I'm going to Missouri City.
Yeah.
Or Sugar Land to go meet you.
So we would spend Friday to Monday. He would come Friday late after work, and he would leave early Monday morning. So really the only days that we were not seeing each other was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it was always back and forth because, like I said, we didn't miss a weekend with each other. So we communicated constantly through email and phone because at this time texting wasn't a thing. And I feel like once we moved in, it was really good.
We had a little bit of a honeymoon stage.
Yeah, like definitely a honeymoon stage for sure. You were still hiding a lot. And because we got engaged on our 1-year anniversary.
But I was still like, so when you say hiding, just for clarification, I'm not hiding drinking or...
No.
Because some of those things we're all doing together.
Yeah.
With our other group of friends.
I'm there. I'm not participating.
Yeah. You were never, but you're still there. And I think the things that I was still trying to balance out was, again, it's really hard to explain sometimes the pressure when something starts going good in your life when you've wanted everything to kind of go bad. And it's not that you've wanted to go bad. You're just kind of always the person like, oh, this is going to end. Believe me, people call me negative all the time, right? Sometimes I'm like, I'm a realist. And some people listen is going to laugh that know me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, sometimes I am a person who's like, it's all going to end in fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
So what's the point, right?
Yeah.
But when you have an interruption in your life, that's like, wait, this doesn't fit my narrative. This doesn't fit what I want. That changes the whole equation for us.
Yeah.
The whole thing for me was, and it threw everything kind of in chaos because it was like, wait, this is not really who and it was almost like trying to believe more of the lie than what was happening in my life at that time. Mm-hmm. And even like today, when you look back on it and you look at the people that kind of stepped in our lives, like before Janice, back to where, my parents make a decision to overcome alcohol and do all this. Like there's so many things that were happening and so many things that happened just throughout school and these little interruptions. And then you're like an interruption now. Mm-hmm. And not a bad one, but it's like one is like, oh, before you came, I was like, I'll never probably get married.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to.
Right.
Because I don't want to even deal with this.
Well, you've only experienced drama and trauma.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's all you've experienced. And also same, but really, I never experienced you. So we were complete opposites. You came from a 5.5, 6 year relationship, where I just came from multiple couple weeks like things. But honestly, guys got on my nerves so quickly and easily. Like I was just like, ugh, I do not even have the time for you. And for some reason, you never got on my nerves, which was also throwing me for a loop.
Still?
Oh, you get on my nerves all the time. I mean, at that moment. I meant at the time. So listen, I always found a reason to not want to be with somebody.
Yeah.
Whether stupid. Like, literally, there was 2 guys that I dated. They were so nice and hugged me so much it got on my nerves.
Yeah.
But it was almost like feminine-y, And I was just like, I want a man, So, like, there's just, like, little things that I would always just find something weird and something that wasn't even inherently bad. Those 2 guys were really nice, really good, upstanding character guys. Just wasn't what I wanted. But with you, because our connection was so intense from the get-go, it was just crazy. But back to the question of, like, why did I stay? And we'll get through all the stuff I stayed through. It really is my faith. Because I had a faith in God and I did pray. And those that know me will always know, like, if I am the type of person, if it does not bring you peace, bless and release. I do not need you in my life if you're not going to bring me peace. But my main peace comes from God. So when I have assurance from Him and when I'm having conversations with Him, which is basically, that's prayer, and I'm feeling and I'm getting the yes to continue forward, that's literally why. Like, my faith had to be bigger than my fear. Mm-hmm. And God was leading me and telling me. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times in our journey that I literally asked God, and we'll get into that story a little later, like, why did you tell me to marry this man? Mm-hmm. Like, angry, yelling at God, why did you tell me to marry this man?
Yeah.
And so God knows. He goes before us.
Yeah.
And when you trust, as much as I trusted God, he told me to stay.
Yeah.
And that's why.
So even in those times, because we're not going to church,
Yeah.
we're not really doing anything, quote unquote, Christian.
Right.
God is telling you through your prayers to stay.
Yes.
And that's what you're saying.
Yes, because I had a firm foundation through my parents.
Yeah.
And also, I had a really awful experience living with my biological dad that made me really rely on God, I guess. And so, I don't know if that's a story for now or another time, but when I chose to go live with my biological dad thinking it was going to be all fun and partying, what I saw was just nothing but destruction and like really sad living. And I thought to myself, well, one, I was so thankful that my mother chose to leave after giving him multiple chances, because we are still very pro-marriage. But she was like, I have to do better for my girls. And it was very hard for my parents to let me go live with my biological dad. It was the last thing they wanted to do, but it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I learned so much. And that's really when I grew my faith, because it's only God that got me out of that situation. And he literally moved me home, and I met you a month later, maybe. I can't even remember. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I don't know. I've never really put that down.
Well, and I think that's important to show too, is that I was in this place of where, yes, I am hiding things. I'm still like openly drinking, but what I'm truly hiding is, obviously in those days, pornography wasn't highly talked about.
No.
That's just a part of my life at that time frame in my life. That was something I just did.
Well, I think you just thought it was normal anyways, because so many others did too.
And it was very normalized.
I thought it was normal too. I had no issue with it.
In our circle of friends. Now, a lot of people...
just with young people, obviously. I wouldn't tell my parents. So.
But at that time, it's like, that's normal.
Yeah.
Going to bars is normal. Doing something to, not feel emotion. And I think a lot of that is where me as a man, it was more or less looking at like, I wanted to have this relationship, but then a part of me was like, I don't want to have this relationship because that means I'm responsible for it.
Yeah.
And it's like the hardest parts come out, because again, I've watched my parents, I've watched their marriage, I've watched the work they've put in. And it was almost like, I don't know if I want to do all of that, because it just seemed like a lot. But then it was almost like, I'm repeating past failures. I'm repeating things that I've seen other people do. And here I am going down this road. Do I really want, and the way that I was looking at it, and that's just the way, again, sometimes I'm a realist with myself in my mind, but it's like, do I really want to destroy this woman? She is so good. And that's the way I was looking at it. And some men that I've learned this over time, working with relationships and marriages and kind of the conversations we've had with people, some men do have that fear. Like, I would rather leave than destroy. That way I don't burn it down. And it leaves people in a weird gap sometimes, especially with men. But the men who step up, like you're saying, your biological dad, like, he had this lifestyle, but he had the choice to change.
Yeah, and he chose not to.
He chose not to.
He went to rehab for a couple hours, I think.
Yeah.
And then he was
hours ain't going to do much, but...
He was like, well, I ain't changing for nobody. And then that became his motto, and he sure did live by it.
And people early in their marriage are the same way. There's... And I'm not trying to put a heavy fist always on the man, but the men do carry a lot of the impression of the marriage. And...
Well, because God did design y'all to lead.
Yeah.
There's still equality in a marriage, but at the same time, like, he... design.
But if you see a marriage failing, and I'm not saying it's always the man, but for most times that in our experience, it's been the man has to make a decision. Are you going to step up? Are you going to change? Are you going to do something to stop this chaos?
Right.
Because a lot of it's pride.
Yeah,
Pride
and
destroys
ego.
us.
Yes, pride and ego absolutely get in the way. But even with working through marriages, and of course, even our own marriage, it takes 100% effort from both people.
Mm-hmm.
So just because like you messed up and did these things, I also had to do the work. It didn't all fall on you.
Yeah. But you have to also put your foot down.
Oh, 100%, but that's part of doing the work.
Yeah.
Is me telling you, like, I am absolutely not going to be treated this way. I don't know who you think you are.
Right.
Like, those kind of things. Like, I had to be strong, and there are times in our marriage I did have to step up and lead.
Mm-hmm.
But that was both of us doing the work.
Yeah, and you're not, in those early days, you're not equipped to kind of help me with this.
No.
You know, that's the thing where I'm sitting there, like you said, living kind of a duality of life. Like I've got these two things going on right now, and two sets of friends, two separate things. And now I have a relationship. Now I have a person living with me, and now a person I love and respect, and a person who makes me feel like I want to be better and is almost motivating me and has faith and different things like that. And I'm like, this is against everything I wanted in my life right now, but I want it. I feel like it's there for me. The other side is like, I'm so embarrassed of this, but my pride is keeping me from saying this is a problem.
Right.
Like, hey, alcohol, dabbling in drugs, going to bars, this is not good for me. And I know it's not good for me too because of my family history.
Right.
Like, I grew up with parents saying this is not good for you.
But also, simultaneously, you're seeing me join you in on these adventures, right? But totally sober.
Yeah.
Still having fun.
Totally
so
weird
you're
to me
like,
at that time.
yeah, and you're like, she's not even participating or drinking, and she's still having fun. So that was an anomaly to you.
Yeah.
Because for years and years, starting in high school, you associated alcohol with fun, and I did not.
Fun? Well, it was fun, and it was also like
a way to escape.
A way to escape, but it's also like a protection too. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, that's a whole nother subject, but it's the situation. Like, we get married, you're moving in. Again, it's not ideal. A lot of people, we've had to discuss this a lot with people because we talk about that story, and sometimes people will say we're glorifying it, right?
Oh,
we're not glorifying what we did. That was the path that happened.
Yes.
For my kids, I would love them never to have premarital sex, never to have any issues, and to get married and that be their only spouse and they move in day one.
Yeah, that would be
I would
amazing.
love for that to happen. However,
that's not always reality.
It's not reality, and we have to respect the journey people are on.
Yes.
And I think that's where you are very good at that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've always respected the journey that people are on because I know that God's not finished with anybody yet. And there's story after story after story in the Bible of God using messy people, redeeming them. He's not looking for perfect people. And I'm not either. When I was learning about Jesus and how he walked beside people who were seen as less than, and the way he loved and cared for them deeply, but not in a way to bring about shame, but to bring about love and hope. I've always said to myself, like, I want to be like that. I want people to see Jesus in me.
Even as a young person?
Yeah, even as a young person. Like, I have this empathy to where I literally feel people. I feel their feelings. I feel like from embarrassment to anger to hurt, like physically feel it in my body. Like, I don't know if people have ever jumped off something tall, barefoot, but it makes your feet tingle really bad. That's that feeling I get. It's a physical feeling I get. Sometimes it's really hot ears. So I've just always been like a really perceptive person. And I refuse to be judgmental. I refuse to judge somebody on the worst moment of their life because I would never want somebody to judge me on the worst moment of mine.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that's why I just am like, I refuse to judge people and know that no matter what journey they're on, there's always hope and there's always redemption. God can do anything. And I genuinely saw that in you. because I was seeing so many good things, I was getting to know you as a person, the heart of who you are, the way your mind worked, your thoughts, the way you showed care for me and opening the door, and even in your drunken moments, making sure I'm safe. Holding my hand, not letting me get lost in a crowd, stepping in between unruly people in crowds. Like, you put me first in a lot of ways. Did you make a lot of bad choices and a lot of self-destructive choices? Yes. However, I was also able to focus on your good qualities, and there were many, many, many of them. And to me, they far outweighed the bad.
Yeah, and again, I think that's how God puts people in our past, situations in our path, even through our parents, because all the things you're explaining is because of the things my mom went through early in her years. And I had to watch my dad protect her. And so therefore, it's kind of where I am a hover parent. My gosh, that's a whole other story. People give me a hard time about it. I am the person on the playground trying to make sure every guy has a kid there. And I'm like, hey, who's your kid? If you don't have a kid, you don't have any business being here. You need to probably go somewhere else.
We don't need no weirdos.
Yeah, well, but essentially that's how, I was raised to be a protector.
Yes.
But also that's kind of where, this is a little different subject, but that's where I value a lot of women leadership in my life, because I have been led by very strong women in my life, along with strong men.
Yeah.
And so when you're in the mix, and I think a lot of people have these relationships that start, and then kind of when the realism starts of what's going on, you are combining two worlds. I don't care if you're both Christian couples coming into two worlds. You're combining two different viewpoints of
two different raisings.
Yeah, but at least you have a foundation, right? And I think you're hitting on the point of like not judging someone's foundation of their faith. And I had a foundation of faith. It was very skewed. When
There's lots of cracks.
But when you come in the picture, I'm in the picture of like, I don't really want to believe any of this anymore. I think it's all malarkey. This is weird. I don't want to deal with it. Then you come in, then your family comes in. It's like, oh, perfect. Now I have these people trying to echo this, but I'm seeing it in a very functional way now. It's almost like a real way.
Yeah.
I'm seeing your family operate. I'm seeing your family argue in a way. I'm seeing your family come together. I'm watching your parents pray. Like there's things that are happening that are impacting me slowly. So it's almost like, the closer you get to the truth, a lot of times, the more vicious things start happening.
Yeah.
But it's because almost like the vibrations of things that are changing just start kind of just going all over the place. And whenever you're in a relationship, like that's what's happening. That's why a lot of relationships end pretty quickly sometimes too, is because they're being forced to really look at themselves and kind of what they believe.
Yeah.
And when you're faced with, hey, what do you really believe about life? What do you really believe about relationship? What do you believe about God now? Because if your foundation is really wrecked on faith, or your foundation is wrecked about who you think God is, then that's going to wreck a lot of your perception of everything else. And so therefore, you have a strong foundation. My foundation is cracked, but it's there. Right? And I'm trying to operate and build on top of this thing. And whenever you're in the picture and you're not judging me, it's throwing me in chaos. When we don't judge people, it's kind of like remember the teenagers, they would kind of tell us things for shock value. And we'd be like, oh, cool. Okay. What do you think about that? And that's the kind of things we've learned from other people, but it would throw them for a little bit of a loop. Like, oh, you're cool with that?
Not cool.
Not cool with it, but it doesn't bother us. Like, what are we going to do about it?
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing. We would always ask questions to turn it back on them, because they're expecting us to shame them and blame them and make them feel less than, right? But when you just ask a question like, what was your thought process behind that? Or what was your intention with that? And then they have to look into themselves. Yeah. It's like, whoa, they actually care what I was thinking or why I did that. They're not focused on the action that I just did? And it's like, no, because that's just a symptom.
Yeah, a byproduct.
A byproduct of your hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the questions are, so the people that come in our lives and ask us questions are very convicting sometimes. And granted, if people are coming at it from a different standpoint, yeah, it can be hurtful. But, you know, I had people, like Janice would just ask me simple questions.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that's okay? Do you feel good about that? And I would be like, why are you asking me these weird questions? It was like, no, she's just trying to clarify in her mind where I'm at with my walk, right?
But also to help you self-reflect.
Yes. It was almost like she's putting a mirror in front of me. And so when you ask questions, I remember those early days you would ask me a question like, do you really like going to the bar?
Yeah.
I'm like,
is that really fun for you?
Yeah, and then I would get prideful, right? And I'm like, I would get upset about it, but it's because you just put the mirror in front of my face.
Exactly.
And you said, look.
And you know who also did that? Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus asked questions all the time.
Yeah.
He literally says, why do you say I am Lord and then you go and do another? Mm-hmm. He really wants to know because your actions aren't matching your words all the time. And again, this is where communication is like so powerful because asking the questions is not coming from a place of judgment, but coming from a place of like, I want you to see what I see in you. And the way to do that is not to shame you and tell you you're wrong, this is awful. It's more of you need to see it for yourself, because when someone sees it for you and tells you like how you should feel, then you're gonna be defensive. And that's why a lot of relationships end, is because pride and defensiveness. I don't want to have to, because we can't keep going to people and bringing about their shame. Because I'm going to tell you this. I'm an overweight person. If someone called me fat, I'd be like, I know. Like, we know when we mess up. You know what I mean? Like, most of us are pretty self-aware. We just don't like to admit it. Yeah. It's very hard to admit things. So I just think asking question brings about the self-awareness in a more gentle way versus shaming. And then we're able to grow.
And it's the way you ask the questions, right? Yeah. So there has to be a place, and maybe there has to
be an intentional heart behind it, like a true caring heart.
Yeah.
Not everyone has your best intentions. Not every relationship that you're in is healthy, or not every partner has your best intention. If you're with someone that's consistently causing chaos and it's just red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag, there's like no self-reflection, and they're gaslighting you to make you a problem when that's not a healthy relationship. We're not saying to save everything.
Right.
But when you can have these really heart-to-heart talks, answer tough questions, really get to the root of it, and you know your partner is seeking to truly understand you as a person. Yeah. Like, that's really good.
Where I wish we would have let people in early on. I wish I would have had that connection or that community at that time, but we weren't letting anybody in on those early days of things.
Well, no, because I didn't want people to judge you. Because, you know, I can forgive you a lot more easy than probably my mom would, right? Because she doesn't want
her baby girl
to be hurt, right? Yeah. Like, so I did that as a protective measure too, because they would have been like, oh no, absolutely not. He's not for you. But they're not in the daily ins and outs of our relationship. And we actually needed that alone time. But I do wish we had a community at that time that we could have confided in, because we did lose friends and trusted people because we kind of had to isolate so that God could work through us together, which was fine. That was healthy at the time. That's what we needed to do.
And I was isolating to certain portions of my life. And I think even to a point you were isolating a little bit of your own faith because you didn't want to offend me or push me. It was kind of this whole kind of, and that's what we'll get into more probably the next episode, but how all this kind of starts exploding a little bit.
Yeah, I think the Del Rio story definitely comes next, and where it really gets into the nitty gritty to say.
But what we were going to end on.
Yes.
I think we went into it naturally, just about. Okay, we talked about communication And one of the things, hey, if you're struggling in a relationship today with your spouse, I don't care if you're dating or early marriage or even late in marriage, one of those things is trying to find some trusted people that you can include. Now, therapy's great. All these things are awesome. But sometimes it takes trusted friends to bring in and just like, hey, here's what's going on in our marriage.
Yeah.
We trust you. Help us. And a lot of times it's just like what you were just saying. Just help them ask the questions. Me and you we
Outside
mediate.
of heated conflict.
Yes. If there's one
Heated
thing,
conflict doesn't solve anything.
mediation helps a lot.
Mediation
Have
is
someone
incredible.
that says, hey, do you think A, B, or C is really good for your marriage? Do you think this is glorifying your wife? Do you think you're respecting your husband? Do you think you're loving your wife while doing this or that or that or whatever? And I think that's where, we can end there.
Yeah.
And try
just mediation really helps people to listen to understand rather than listen to defend.
Yeah.
And really our whole goal in marriage and in relationships is to understand each other, and asking questions is okay.
Yeah.
And coming along trusted people is beautiful.
Yep. And as people are listening, I really would like to know, just send us something, send us an email. But if you have questions or something to share, or even, a curiosity type thing, send it over to us. I would love to hear about
Or
it.
even a conflict that you're in right now and you're like, I would love somebody else's thoughts and opinions on that. We would love to.
We won't use your names.
No. Anonymous, of course.
But
well, thank y'all so much for listening, and we hope you come back.
Yep.
Thanks so much for listening to I Still Do. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We'd also love to hear from you, so if you have any questions or even a story you'd like to share with us to get our advice on, please feel free to send us an email at geraldandtabby@istillDoPodcast.com. Until next time, keep choosing love and each other, because we still do.